Oh, actually, it's not as I don't think it's a smart question, but it's a curious kind of question. How's your uric acid with like all the red meat that you intake? And, I mean, do you have gout? I doubt you have gout. You look.
No, it's not a dumb question at all, Papi. It's a great question, actually. So thank you for bringing it up. Uric acid, generally in those that are commenced on a high protein diet, in particular if it's rich in red meat, will go up in the initial phases. But what the kidney does, it just adjusts. It just adjusts and the levels will normalize very quickly. The way we've got to start looking at gout, it's actually not a separate illness to metabolic syndrome or obesity. It's all part of the same spectrum. So you'll find the gout generally tends to coexist in people that have issues related to their metabolic health. Often in people that are overweight, the gout tends to be far more common. So whilst it's pushed as a disease of uric acid, it's actually much more than that. It is a disease of metabolic syndrome. And by improving your metabolic health, gout is something that is very rapidly reversible rather than to be medicated on.
Yeah, before you came on, I was talking to Desmond about I used to have pain, and even though I wasn't overweight, I've never been overweight. There's this syndrome where you're skinny yet you're inflamed, metabolically not well.
Yes.
So I was having like a bone edema, and that was really concerning, and I realized that I was having metabolic issues.
Yeah, look, but if you were to do a body composition scan in people like that may not look all that fat, they tend to carry visceral fat. The insides light up. And these adipocytes are activated and often releasing and pumping out cytokines such as TNF-alpha and interleukin-6 and various other pro-inflammatory cytokines. So people just feel inflamed, and often you can pick it up on a blood test simply by doing something called a high sensitivity CRP. Even though they've got no overt disease, these tend to be elevated, and it's actually a marker of cardiac risk. So body composition scans are very, very useful, especially in those that are of an Asian or indigenous background, whereas those that originated in these climates in Northern Europe tend to have less in the way of visceral fat. They tend to carry fat under their skin, or a sort of protection from the environment, the cold in particular. So they tend to carry the weight well. And this is why diabetes rates in Asia are so much higher. And in Africa is so much higher than it is in Northern Europeans, because they will generally grow outwards rather than grow inwards. And growing inwards, that is a major issue, a big problem.
You know, Dr. Pran, we both actually